You ready, Jimmy? All right, I'm gonna step out and let Jimmy in the box.
Thank you, Don.
Is it ready for you? Turn the volume down until you're ready.
All right, guys, starting this match right now.
That's about as far as it goes.
Erik HJORLEIFSON from Canada, I believe from Toronto.
All right.
Maybe somebody in the chat room could help me here. I just got off the phone with him, too.
You can hear yourself, you're live.
This is Daniel Busch, and we are live, streaming from the Rum Runner Lounge in Paradise, Nevada, a.k.a. Las Vegas. And we are streaming the second day of the 2018 Andy Mercer 9-Ball Classic. And I would like to introduce to you Las Vegas's very own 4-time world champion, Jimmy Pretty Boy Floyd Mataya. How you doing today, Jimmy?
I'm doing great, Daniel, and it's nice to have you back this year. Absolutely. This tournament is not the same without POVPOOL.
Thanks, man.
I mean to tell you, you bring in the excitement, my man.
I'll tell you what, POVPOOL is not the same without you sometimes.
Well, I don't play anymore, but I enjoy very much watching the greatest players in the world. And I mean to tell you, this tournament here, the bar table tournament, is without a doubt that one of the toughest tournaments in the country. When you come to the Rum Runner, you better bring your guns loaded because there's a whole lot of gunslingers here waiting for you.
Yeah, you're not kidding. And you know what? We got a gunslinger right now. You see him jacked up on this ball. I think he's shooting at the 3. That's Erik HJORLEIFSON. He's from Canada, and he just won the Jay Swanson Memorial Tournament in San Diego a couple weeks ago. He also used to live here in Las Vegas when he was part of the bonus ball team. You remember that game, bonus ball,
yes,
right?
Yes, I do. I remember it very well, very well.
And he's playing Frank Moreno, who is from, he's from, I can't see where he's from, but he is a California player.
Okay, so we got a Canadian versus a Californian, is that correct?
Yeah, I want to say he's from Cyrus, California. I don't know where Cyrus is, Jimmy.
Cyrus.
Cyrus? You been there?
I've
Any
been
rooms out there to play in?
Cyrus, hey, have I been there? I've been around the world once. I shook hands with everybody twice. I know where everybody's at. And this is the very first game, Daniel?
This is the first game, race to 6. And as you have said, this is one of the toughest tournaments in the Shire.
No question about it. I mean, I've been to a lot of tournaments, and this is definitely, without a doubt, the Andy Mercer Memorial is one of the toughest tournaments you're going to find in the country when you're talking bar, table, pool. You have come to the right place, my friend, the Rum Runner.
That's true. But we got some of the world's best here. We got Shane Van Boning, Warren Kiamco from Philippines. Ronnie Elcano came from the Philippines as well to play this. We got Machine Gun Lou Butera's son, Sal Butera, is playing this.
Right.
And you probably know Machine Gun yourself, don't you?
Oh, yeah, I knew Lou very
you knew
well.
Lou?
Yeah, absolutely. The guy that run 150 and out, and I think it was about 18 minutes. It's an unbelievable record. I mean, 150 and out, playing straight pool in about 18 minutes, I think it took him. It was the most unbelievable thing I ever saw.
Well, the son of a gun, Sal Butera, is here as well.
He's a magnificent player, too, Sal Butera. I mean, all the players here that come to this tournament, I mean, geez, you have a field of 64 players, and about 54 of them are champions. So
That's true.
This is a very, very difficult tournament.
And not always on paper, too, you know. They're champions in the shadows.
Oh, man, they come with their guns loaded here at the Rum Runner. I want to tell you, this is the 28th annual Andy Mercer Memorial. And when you win this tournament, that's something to be very proud of because there's so many magnificent players here. And as you mentioned, they come from everywhere. They're in Australia, Mexico, the Philippines, all over the United States, Canada, you name it. You got them here at the Rum Runner.
It's a pleasure to have you back here. You've been living here over 25 years now, I think. You hail originally from Detroit.
I lived here back in the mob days in the early 70s, and I came back a little over 6 years ago. So I've spent, maybe 16, 17 years here in Vegas, and it's a magnificent town for pool. They've always loved pool here very much. They have a lot of tournaments here at the Rum Runner. Gino Hill, the proprietor of the Rum Runner, does a magnificent job every year, and it's not just this tournament. He has a lot of tournaments, women's tournaments, men's tournaments, leagues all the time, and he just does a magnificent job here, Gino Hill.
Yeah, that's true. He's got, this is a perfect time of year for him every year.
It's March Madness, my man.
It's right, exactly.
We got the basketball on all over the joint. We got about 3,000 people in here. This is March Madness here at the Rum Runner. To tell you.
I went out to the parking lot. I saw a couple helicopters circling the parking lot.
Oh, well, they're out there, the police, the fire department, everybody. Want to make sure everything's all right.
Well, we want to make sure you're all right. You got everything you need. If you need anything, you just let me know, Jimmy.
Okay. Couldn't borrow about 300-400 from you. Could I maybe go shoot some dice?
That's another conversation. You need a beer?
Pardon me?
You need a drink?
People get thirsty in the desert there.
All right, we get you taken care of. Hold on a second.
Okay.
All right, so it's one game. Erik, did you see the run? He played a great carom and made the 8-ball early. Played a back cut on the 4, and he made pretty good work of this rack.
Now, I haven't had the opportunity to watch these two players before, but obviously if they're here for the Mercer Memorial, then one thing's for sure, these guys play good.
All right, so Frank at the break. And as you can see, that cut break that you like so much, Jimmy.
I don't agree with that break. I think it's a dangerous break. You're always flirting with a scratch. For my money, get up there and hit them. Get up there and whack them balls. You're going to have a little push out here. I'm going to play a little cat and mouse now. I would, in my opinion, I might have to just hit the 1 ball right here and stop the cue ball right behind the 4 ball and try to snooker him on the 1 ball. We'll see what he does. He might be going for the 5 ball down there in the corner. Oh,
what
wow.
A nice shot, but I don't know about this cue ball, Jimmy.
Very nice shot. I had no idea he could make that ball into the side pocket. He made a nice shot, but there's no reward. He's hooked on the 2. And this is not going to be an easy ball to hit, Daniel. This is not. He's not in a good situation here.
Even if he makes it, doesn't even look like there's a lot of potential for the 3 ball.
Well, you got to hit the 2 ball, that's for sure. You can't worry about the 3 ball right now. If he doesn't hit this 2 ball, he's in a bad position. And this is not an easy ball to hit. I think he may try to go cross side with his cue ball. The 4 is in the way a little bit, so maybe a little reverse left-hand English and try to snap the cue ball back towards the side pocket. But he's in a little bit of a difficult situation here. I don't think he can go to the side rail and hit this ball unless he does a little bit of masse, put a little hot sauce on that cue ball and try to masse it a little bit.
I think that's what he's doing, Jimmy. Maybe playing for the 2 down by that 5 ball in the corner.
Well, right now he's got to hit the 2, and that's all there is to it. Well, there's the scratch.
Oh, yeah. It becomes a big pocket when you're shooting like that.
Yep.
So, Jimmy, you hail as probably one of the biggest, best money players of our time over the years. How do you think the game the standard of the game has changed over the years. Do you think these players are better than they were in your time?
No.
You think they're about the same, or?
Well, let me tell you something. Champions are champions, and I don't care if you go back to the 1920s, the days of Ralph Greenleaf, and so on and so forth. Champions are champions. The thing about it is, with today, there's more of them. Today, you have the Filipinos to contend with. You have the European players. Whereas many years ago, America dominated the sport of pocket billiards. It's not so like that anymore because so many millions and millions of people from all over the world have decided to take up this game, and they love this game. They love the competition. But champions today are no different than champions from yesterday. They all do the same thing. If you give them a shot, you're in a lot of trouble.
As you can see here,
Absolutely.
Frank Moreno scratched, kicking that 2 ball, and Erik makes quick work.
And there you go. I mean, these guys play awfully well. But yeah, the champions today, every bit as good as the champions from yesterday, and champions from yesterday, every bit as good as the champions from today. But there's so many more of them today to come into a tournament like this and try to walk away the winner. A very difficult task.
Well, that's certainly good insight. You know, because a lot of people do argue that, you know, players are better nowadays than
well,
they
let me
used to
tell you
be.
something. The players yesterday were great players. The players today are great players. But the players of yesterday played this game the way the game was designed to be played. They do not do that anymore. The rules, the equipment, and everything has changed tremendously over the years. But I would have to say, if you took certain games like straight pool, for instance, the players of yesterday are more educated in the game than the players of today.
I agree.
You know, and back in the day, you didn't use jump cues. Back in the day, if you got ball in hand, you had to work your way to get ball in hand. Today, it's a different ball game. So players of yesterday, I would say, are more educated. Were they better? No. But they were more educated with the game of pool.
I'll tell you something else I've noticed. You know, just like straight pool, it seems like a lot of pool players today have forgotten about 3-cushion billiards.
Well,
and a lot of the great pool players from back in the day, they were good at 3-cushion billiards. It was part of their staple of their, you know, it was part of their vocabulary. They knew the game.
Absolutely. To know the game of 3 cushions will help your pool game tremendously. You go back in the olden days, guys like Harold Wurst and Boston Shorty.
Even Minnesota Fats?
Minnesota Fats couldn't beat the barmaid, okay? But to have that knowledge of 3-cushion billiards and add it to your pocket billiard game is a tremendous lift.
Yes.
Now, on the flip side of that coin, with the rules that they play by today, where you can pull out a jump cue. You know, I don't agree with jump cues. I don't think there's any room in the world of professional pocket billiards to play with jump cues. And the reason I say that is, you know, a man makes a tremendous defensive shot and he gets punished by it because the oncoming player comes out with a jump cue. So you have to say, what good is it to hook someone when they can use a jump cue? It's like you have to freeze the cue ball to the object ball to have anything going
for it to be
you.
safe. Yeah.
And I don't agree with jump cues when you're talking world-class competition. I think jump cues are fine for an exhibition, a trick shot artist to say, hey, watch what I can do with this little twig. That's fine for trick shots and exhibitions, but to do it in world-class competition, I just don't agree with that. That's not pool to me.
All right, so it looks like a little bit of a safety battle here.
This is a safety battle, no doubt. Now here's where your billiard knowledge comes into play. Okay.
I agree.
Now he's unable. I think one would think he might be unable to use a jump cue here. I don't. Can he see this ball? Perhaps he can see this ball.
I think he's sliding into the 8, maybe.
Oh,
Yep.
okay. He could see the ball, but if he couldn't see that ball, now the 3-cushion billiard play comes in to the factor. Okay, you got to know your 3-cushion billiards. It's a great game to know. For anybody that plays pocket billiards, to have knowledge of 3-cushion billiards is a tremendous help.
Well, I think Frank got a couple. He got a lucky roll there after making the 4 ball to get shape.
Not so easy to get shape on the 7 ball here. And there he missed. He's worried about getting shape on the 7 ball, and he missed the 6 ball.
He rushed himself, too.
Well, he was worried about the 7 ball. And you see what a cue ball is. He had no position on the 7. He had that funny kind of angle that, how do I get position on the 7? And the next thing you know, he misses the 6 because he's concentrating on the 7.
Jimmy, you were one of the toughest players back in the day when you were playing. But who would you consider one of the toughest players that you ever had to play?
Well, recently I got a call from Pat Fleming from AccuStats. He wanted to know they have something going on called the Living Legends Challenge. And he wanted to know if I was interested in coming to New Jersey and playing Keith McCready. Keith McCready was a tremendous money player. He never cared that much about tournament play. He was from California, and if there was a tournament out his way, he would play in it. But he wasn't the type of player to travel all over the country to play in tournaments. Keith cared about playing for money. So I don't know if this match will take place between Keith and I. I haven't played Keith in 30 years, but I've always respected the way he played, and he's a money player, strictly a money player. You know, so we'll see what happens with that. But Keith McCready was one of the great money players. I remember playing in ring games with him in Los Angeles way back in the 1960s, and he was just a young teenager, and he was up there playing with the greatest players in the world. We used to play pay ball on a snooker table, ring game, and it was a lot of money bet. He's a money player, Keith McCready, no question about it.
Keith McCready, and he's recently been picking up the stick again.
I hear he's been playing a little bit, and you know, I'm happy for him. I mean, he's getting up there in age now. I believe he lives around Washington, D.C., the Baltimore area. He left Los Angeles, and myself, I played in the toughest pool room in the world, the toughest pool room there ever was, and that was called the Rack, and that was in Detroit. If you wanted to win serious money, you came to Detroit. And they didn't care who you was or what you was. All they wanted to know was what kind of game do you play and how much do you want to bet. And that was the Rack and Cue. Big time problem here with this 3-ball. What he's going to try to do here, your guess is as good as mine.
I think he's banking it.
I don't know what he's going to try to do, but he was pretty much in jail there. He's left a little bit of an open table, but there's
very aggressive player, this guy.
Well, you have to be aggressive in a game of 9-ball. You know, you have to be aggressive. Nice shot there.
Yeah,
even if the 4 hadn't have fell, he would have had excellent position on the 4. So it was a very nice shot on the 3.
And Erik is poised to win his 4th game in a row.
We're looking at a shutout. We're looking at a shutout here.
What do you have?
Oh, just
a Bud Light? Yeah, I'm good. Draft? Draft.
Is this a 4-0 ball game right now,
It
Daniel?
sure is.
Boy, and it seems like we just got here. It's already 4-0.
Well, you know, we can always stay for another match if you like.
Using the magic rack here. There's my friend Gino Hill, one of the greatest of all times. You talk about a guy that loves pool, that's Gino Hill. You have every kind of tournament in the world here, the men, the women, the leagues, I mean, you name it. Gino Hill, we got to thank a guy like that for being a part of Pocket Billiards.
Absolutely, absolutely. And if you've been to Las Vegas, if you come to Las Vegas, you don't want to miss the Rum Runner Lounge. You've got to make it a destination point.
If you haven't been to the Rum Runner, you haven't been anywhere, my friend. Okay? We rumble in here. I want to tell you, we got 2,000-3,000 people in here tonight, and they all get up and play. Doesn't matter.
Thank you, Jimmy. So, Jimmy, somebody in the chat room was asking, do you still have the old Pete the Painter suit? And, you know, asking that question makes me wonder, how did the Pete the Painter idea come up? Was it an actual move that you did, or was it just something you were being creative with in that video?
Well, they wanted to do some hustler videos. So, excuse me.
You all right there? Have a sip.
Boy, that was a stiff drink. Excuse me 1 minute.
I got Jimmy's I got him all choked up. You all right?
Yeah, I believe I'm gonna make it. Now, Pete the Painter, they wanted to do some hustler videos. So I told them, go out and get me a painter's outfit and a ladder and give me a partner to deal with, and I'll try to put it together. So we put together a skit in only 1 day. So it didn't turn out bad. It was fun to do that, but that's what they wanted. They wanted some hustler videos, so I tried to give them whatever they wanted.
Hold on a second. Erik now, shot on the 7, and he's about to take his 5th game in a row.
Okay, we got pictures. We got a guy here from New York Times taking pictures. This is for the New York Times front page tomorrow.
Keep your eyes on focus. One more time.
Okay.
Two. Thank you.
Okay, we got spectators taking a lot of pictures here. Everybody's enjoying themselves.
He was like in the atmosphere somewhere.
The 28th annual Andy Mercer Memorial. What a tournament this is.
So suffice to say, you know, hustling pool was never as elaborate as that. You never had to get into a painter's outfit and show up at a strange room with a routine, did you?
Well, I want to tell you something. Back in the day, we did not have as many major tournaments as you have today. Back in the day, you're talking the 60s and the 70s, you had about 4 major tournaments a year. Now, if a professional pool player can only play in a major tournament, say once every 3 months, what is he to do the rest of the time? Well, you're trying to make a living, so, you know, you're going to end up gambling is what it is. Now, professional players today don't really have to do that. There's a lot of tournaments all over the world, and it's like every week, every month, there's something going on somewhere. It's all up to you if you can make it to the tournament. But back in the day, you didn't have that many tournaments, so it caused a lot of gambling.
Yeah. It's funny, isn't it? Ironic, you know. People complain today that there's not enough opportunity for pool players, that it's hard to make money. And I understand, because it is expensive to travel and it's expensive to fund these tournaments and stuff.
Absolutely.
But you know, unbeknownst to a lot of what people may think, those tournaments were few and far between back in the day.
Yes, they was. You had Johnson City, you had the Stardust, you had Los Angeles,
Yeah.
and you had a major tournament in New York.
And the Stardust was also the Jansko brothers, right?
That was the Jansko brothers. They ran the Johnson City tournament. They ran the Stardust tournament. George and Paulie Jansko.
Yeah. You played the Stardust many years, didn't you?
Well, I won the Stardust tournament in '72. I played in the Johnson City tournament back in the late '60s, and then in 1970 I was there. I mean, I'm a pool buff. I love the sport and I love the competition, and well, the best players in the world were there. As simple as that. You want to come get your feet wet? Come on.
Yeah, yeah. You've never played a Mercer, have you?
I actually played in the Mercer here twice.
Okay.
You know, and I just did it for fun. I knew I had no chance to win the tournament. I'm retired for 25 years, but I said, you know, just for the fun of it, I'd like to play in a tournament again, such as the Mercer. But no, I did not do well. You know, forget about it. You know, I should be sweeping the floor or cleaning out the bathroom or something. I got no business being up there playing.
Donnie Branson and Walter Glass are hill over there.
Oh, we do. We got Donnie Branson and Walter Glass. They're hill, 5-5. And we got Gary Onamura is on the hill against Ben Sutherland, 5-3. And we also got Joe Canella is up 3-0 against
Tom DiLorenzo, I believe.
Tom DiLorenzo.
Uh-huh.
That's true. That's true. True story. So anyway, I will. I'll also see if you can see the table on your left, just under the scoreboard here. That's the hill match between Walter and Donnie Branson. So I'll leave that there.
That's a great match, Branson and Walter Glass, a couple of guys that
What
live
do you
here.
call him? Donnie Brasco.
Donnie Brasco, the snitch. That's what I call him. Now, one thing
Somebody wanted to know what is the history of this tournament.
Well,
Michael Bardelaban.
28. This is the 28th annual Andy Mercer Memorial, and it just keeps getting tougher every year. I mean,
Well, Gino Hill was a great friend of Andy Mercer's, and after Andy died in 1992, I believe it was.
Might have been before that.
It's actually on my press release, so shame on me. After he passed away, Gino Hill at the Rum Runner Lounge decided to hold this tournament 28 years ago, and it's been running ever since.
Well, it just keeps getting bigger and better and tougher every single year. There's no question about that. I rank this as one of the absolute toughest bar table tournaments in the country. There's no question about it. When you got people from, 4 or 5 different countries coming here to play, and I mean, these guys can play. These are not ham and eggers that come all the way from the Philippines and Canada and Mexico, Australia. I mean, you name it. These guys are very, very good players. Now, as I can see, Daniel, as you can see, the magic rack is still on the table. Now, I don't get this. See, these are some of the things that have changed over the years. For what reason is the rack still on the table?
I prefer to take it off as soon as I see an opportunity to take it off. I take it off.
It's unbelievable.
Like here
to me.
comes. Okay, so Eric's going to come shoot now.
Well,
and he's not taking it off.
You don't even notice that it's there. You're just up there looking at the shot and trying to figure out what you do. You don't even really realize that this rack is still on the table.
It can affect the roll.
Well, absolutely. If a ball rolls across it, and I've seen it more than once, a ball roll across that rack and make a semi-U-turn. I don't get it.
I've seen the ball skid after you hit or roll over the magic rack. I've seen that happen.
Well, I'm going to tell you my opinion about the magic rack. And it's this. It's the only rack ever invented that can cost a player his match.
Okay.
And why do I say that? Because after you break the balls, this piece of plastic is still on the table. And I have seen balls roll across it
Wow, did
and
you
make
see
a
that?
semi-U-turn. I mean, come on, this is not pool.
St. Patty is smiling on Erik right now. He just played a good kick, but he accidentally banked it in the other side pocket.
And it's still on the table. If you look down at the far end of the table, it's still on the table. I did not like that shot, whatever he was trying to do there. I want to tell you what, he has a tough shot here. What
Yeah,
he
does.
was
Yeah, I
trying
am.
to do there, I have no idea, but that was not a good shot.
This is an extremely difficult cut shot. He may even,
This is not an easy shot when you're jacked up on the side pocket like that cue ball is right now. This
Jimmy,
is not
I
an easy
might
shot.
bank this.
Some people might bank this
What?
shot. But
He's gonna cut it and make it. How much you want to
I think Eddie Taylor would bank it.
the Knoxville Bear, we're talking about Eddie Taylor, Hall of Famer, one of the great bank pool players
Yep.
that ever lived.
Yes, he is. Yes, he was.
Very nice
wow,
shot.
What
Very
a
nice
great
shot.
cut. And that's going to end this match oily.
6-0.
What a quick match.
He pitched a shutout, 6-0. And that was a do or die match. The loser has been eliminated.
Phenomenal shot on the 9-ball.
It was a very nice shot on the 9-ball. It was not an easy shot.
So coming right up, we've got Ray Skenendor versus Chris Stanfield, two Vegas locals.
There you
Gonna
go.
be playing each other. So if you want to stick around, Jimmy, you're welcome to hang with us.
All right, well, this last match only lasted a few minutes. I will hang around here. And
This match was exactly 31 minutes.
31 minutes. Wow. I thought it was about 20 minutes. We got Ray coming up. Ray Skenedor. And who's his opponent, Daniel?
Donnie, the snitch.
Oh, Donnie Brasco. Okay, this will be a good match.
Donnie Branson.
We got the snitch, Donnie Brasco, coming.